Kendéll Lenice, your fave life coach. Here we go. Okay. Hey everybody, it's Kendéll Lenice, your fave life coach, the remix coach. And welcome to Kendéll Lenice Live, where we dive deep into healthy conversations. I'm telling you, this is going to be a very good one. This is a safe space to be honest and to share truths, right? Mm-hmm. And today is a great subject because we're talking about mothers and sons, right? And these amazing women, and we'll have two more joining us, are talking about their teachings to their son. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to formally introduce the book. But as you guys know, mother and son relationships are very different when it comes to Black mothers because they're looking at certain things totally different from a different lens. And before we get started, before I introduce my guest, sitting here so lovely and pretty, I want to just give some statistics for a moment. So let me see here. All right. So you guys have seen the movie Baby Boy, right? Mm-hmm. You've seen the movie Baby Boy. If you got BET, you done seen it 11 times because they play it all the time, right? But that part where John Singleton in the beginning, when he's in the biblical court and he's pregnant. You guys remember that part, right? So that's a theory by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. So basically, she is a Black psychiatrist as it relates to Black men and their relationships with their mothers. And I'm going to talk about this. The film suggests due to racial, Black men may be perceived as babies by some, and mothers in turn may coddle them inadvertently, hindering their full potential, right? So the movie also explores how this concept manifests into language used by Black men, such as calling their partners mama when they get married, their friends, their boys, and their homes, their cribs, right? Which the film suggests reinforces the baby identity. So when we're talking about Black men, it's different because Black mothers, the relationship between Black mothers and sons are characterized by both resilience and the challenges of navigating the systemic racism, right? Systemic racism. Black mothers often prioritize their safety and their well-being of their sons. And a lot of other races, that's not something that they have in mind because they don't have to protect, because we know the world we live in, right? So preparing them for the world, they may face prejudice and discrimination. This also includes teaching them about the potential for violence from the police and other institutions. So the conversation is always, let's have that talk. And you guys, I don't have sons. I have a brother who was like my son, but I don't have sons. So this is going to be an excellent conversation. Yes. And as I was talking, it's so funny how God works, because I was working with a student today, and he said, I love my mother. She is my best friend. And this is second grade. So I thought that was very appropriate for today. It was like God was setting that up. Right. So I'm so excited to be here with you all. And I'm going to introduce you guys, but I just wanted to, everybody's like, who are they? Who are they? Who are they? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? So this is a show about deep talks, dope guests, and divine moments, because every moment that we're talking about is not going to be scripted. So it's going to be divine. The Holy Spirit is going to come in here. All right. So hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Your comments are welcome. We would like to hear from you, and please share this out on your social media platforms, because these are the type of conversations that we want to go viral. There are a lot of mothers out there with sons, and this book is phenomenal, and I'm so happy to have the authors with us. So do me a favor, subscribe to this channel and share this out as we have this conversation. All right. So without further ado, let me formally introduce, and first I want this one, before I even introduce her, to tell us where we're filming from.
Well, you are filming in the Elevation Global Media Group studio, and it's such an honor to have you here with me.
I appreciate it.
And of course you too.
Yes.
But that's where we're right here in White Marsh, Maryland. It is a full blown. Can I give a little bit of advertising?
That's what I'm asking for,
Okay.
because I haven't fully introduced you. But I want you to, no, I want you to tell them what we're filming from, and then we're gonna go.
Okay, so right here in White Marsh, it's a full blown studio. We actually have about 9 sets. Now, and when I say sets, 9 different ways you can film in the studio, and 9 different sets that you can use. But we are always looking for impactful shows like yours, Kendéll. We are always looking for shows that can come in and film here. It's not just us, but it's you. It's about you.
Yes, I appreciate that. So who was talking here? This is the owner of this amazing establishment. I'm going to read her bio. So Cassandra Ferguson. She's a dynamic author, speaker, certified trainer, visionary coach, and innovative business leader. As the CEO of Elevation Global Media Group, which we're here, she connects visionaries, leaders through TV, radio, podcast, print platforms that amplify purpose-driven voices. I love that. Known for her bold and results-driven approach, Cassandra empowers individuals and organizations through leadership, development, communication strategies, and personal transformation training. That's all I'm going to read now, but I want you to follow her so you can read more about her. So I just want to say Cassandra also is the founder of Business Women on the Move and Women of Impact, 2 thriving networks supporting over 1,000 women across industries. In addition, she leads youth mentorship initiatives through Diamonds and Pearls Unlimited. Be extraordinarily you, nurturing the next generation of empowered voices. And I had the pleasure. So guys, I don't know if you remember, if you follow me on social media, there were some amazing teenagers. So not even teens yet, right? Was 113, I think was the youngest. Business women, young girls, and I got a chance to judge some amazing ideas from those. If that's the future, we're in good shape.
We're good.
Yes. So it was amazing to see that. So all right, next up, she's looking like, what about me? I didn't forget you. This is Valencia Hardy. She's an accomplished author known for her distinctive writing style and passion for storytelling that creates a unique, meaningful experience for readers. A proud Baltimore native, she is a graduate of the Community College of Baltimore County and the U.S. Armed Forces. She's a U.S. Armed Forces veteran. Thank you for your service. In addition to her writing, she is a licensed cosmetologist, driven entrepreneur, and committed to empowering others to build wealth and create change with their community. Thank you, and welcome to Kendéll Lenice Live, ladies. Absolutely. And we have more guests, but this is the book that we're going to be talking about. My Son, Don't Forget My Teaching. This is available everywhere. We're going to tell you how to get it because I'm sure you're going to want to get this once you hear this healthy and rich conversation today. I already know it's going to be rich. Yes. And you ladies here and the other ladies. So I want to introduce and bring on, we have virtual authors as well, and they're a part of this amazing book. But let me just read this first. All right. So My Son, Don't Forget My Teaching is a heartfelt collection of wisdom, prayers, and affirmations from 7 powerful women of faith dedicated to their sons and to the young men around the world. Co-authored by mothers, mentors, and leaders, this timely book calls young men to remember who they are and whose they are in the world that often tries to define them otherwise. It is more than a book. It is a movement of healing, covering, and generational legacy. Yes. That's powerful. Yes. That's powerful. So before I even bring them on, because after reading that, I must know, like, what made you, because you kicked this off, right? What made you decide to say, hey, I'm going to get some women and we're going to talk about our sons in this way?
Well, it was always the plan to do, because we also have a book called Dear Daughter. So me and a group of women got together in 2014 and we wrote Dear Daughter. But of course, the boys wanted to know what about them. Of course. But it was always in the plan. Yes. It's because all the series, which is going to be more series, it's about relationships. Right? But when we talk about in the book in the intro, when we wrote this, George Floyd had been murdered. When we're in the process of writing this, took a minute because there was some hurdles that we really had to jump over. When I tell you, the devil did not want this book out. He did not want it out. And so there was a couple of hurdles that we had to go through, but we knew that there was going to be a time, an appropriate time that would have us to bring this book. And so the need to, and basically what it talks about is the need to let our young men know they are favored by God. They are needed in their community and families, and to affirm them. So it's kind of like to deprogram their thinking, if I can say that, because society, like you said, will label them. Society will speak things into their life. And my son had just put something up yesterday. This is Men Mental Health Month. We don't hear a lot about that. Now, when it's another mental, but we don't hear a lot about let's encourage our men. So this is Men Health, Health Month. So how appropriate for us to be on your show, right? But mental health awareness. This it's needed because I look at it like this: mothers, we have a choice. It may not just be a mother. It could be a grandmother. It could be an auntie. It could be a sister. A big sister. We have a choice on how we raise our boys. That's right. And we also have a choice of the words we speak over them.
That's, you know what? It's so powerful because when I think about it, and I was talking about one of the students, but I work with kids often, and just to hear some of the things that they say and some of the teachers that say things to them. One of the teachers, I remember a few years ago, was a little Black boy in the kindergarten, and she told him, she said, "You are a pathological liar, and that's all you're going to be." Now this was I'm sorry, but this was a white teacher to a young Black male, and as soon as I heard her say that, I wanted to say something so bad to her, but instead I said something to him. I said, "You are a king."
That's right.
I said, "You are beautiful," because what happens is if you don't counteract those words, then they're going to have a complex, and they're going to grow up thinking that, right? And the more people that speak opposite of life into them, that's what's going to happen. I think this is so powerful. Valencia, why did you decide to be a part of this book?
Wow.
If I need to ask, right?
Because of everything that she said, really. But at first I didn't, know if I wanted to be a part of it. It's a little, nervous. So I wasn't sure. And then bringing up everything that I've gone through just replays in your mind. But I knew after God, no, I need you to do this. I need you to do this for me. Because somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to hear other words besides what they're hearing out there.
So. You talked about some of the things that you've gone through. Is this with your son? You said you kind of was hesitant with some of the things you've been
just
through.
In general, just life things, but of course it's all gonna lead to my son as well because we're connected. They're with me. So
So I'm so glad that you were a part of this book because your voice is valued and it needs to be heard in your experience. And I think having 7 women on here with sons, everybody's experience is different. And to be able to pull together for a common cause, to be able to, the teaching. So before I bring our other guests on, you said the teachings. What is one lesson that you can think of that you wrote in the book or you wish you put in the book about some of your teaching?
Well, I was always big on watch what you say out your mouth. Watch what you speak over. Watch what you speak over yourself. And like we talked about earlier, and watch what you allow people to speak over you. So there was a phrase that we often would use. Well, and I will often use with my kids is when something was said that you don't agree, and they still say it to this day. I don't receive that.
That's good. And as the children, you taught them, that I don't receive that. Like throw it back, like we said, back to center.
I'll receive that.
I love that
because you can't receive everything that's spoken over your life. And I think back with the teacher. I'm gonna be honest. That
Mhm.
teacher was tired and probably needed to
Mhm.
either retire or go
Mhm.
home and lay down somewhere.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
because usually that's when you're gonna get the after
Yeah.
effects when they're tired, they're
Yeah.
overwhelmed.
Frustrated.
Because I've been
Yeah.
there as a mother and a wife.
Mhm.
You know, I get tired. I may say anything out
Yes.
my mouth.
Yes.
But she was tired.
Yes.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Yes. And I mean, I hear it often, and I go back and
Mhm.
I just reinforce it.
Mhm.
And when I tell you how those kids love me and I love them, because I talk to them like I'm their mother. I haven't birthed sons, but I got a lot of sons.
I know, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and you
it's
don't
so
have to
important.
birth them to have them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Yes.
received that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, Valencia, what was one lesson that you taught your son that you see? How old is your son?
Well, I have 3.
How old are your sons?
So you can look.
I know you got to count, right?
One is about to turn 38.
Okay, you
That's
don't
the
look it.
oldest.
Okay.
And the other one is 28.
Mm-hmm.
And then Shawn, he is 18. He just turned 18.
Nice. So was there a thread, a common thing that you saw from the 38-year-old to the 18-year-old? Is something that you taught them that they all know? Well, that's what mom says. That's what she's taught us.
Common thing. I would have to think about that. But I always teach them to I want them to do their best.
Yeah.
Even if they, may not look like they're doing their best in
Yes.
everyone else's eyes.
Yes.
I taught you to do your best.
Do your best.
And
Yes.
that's what I expect you
Yeah.
to do. Even though, life throws things at you
Yeah.
sometimes. So you're not,
Mhm.
you may not be able to do your best as you think,
Yes.
you can do. But, that's what I told them. That's one of the timeless values in my chapter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do your best.
But you don't even know how powerful that is in
Yeah.
general, because there's so many parents that want their children to be perfect. You better get straight
Oh, my
A's. You better
goodness.
do this. I mean, you hear it all the time.
Mhm.
But I think it's so powerful and so profound and so simple,
Mhm.
right? It's simplistic.
Yes.
Do your best. Because your 18-year-old's best is not the same as your 38-year-old's best.
Mhm. Right.
And a lot of times it's like, your brother got straight A's, so you get straight A's,
Mhm.
but that might not be his
Yeah.
best.
Right.
And I think that's so powerful
It
and
is.
important. Don't you?
Oh,
you
I
with
agree.
that?
Do your best. And that, like you said, that's so simple.
Yes, it's simple, but it's so complicated for people.
Yeah. it is.
Because I think a lot of parents, and we'll talk about this when we have our other guests on, but sometimes want the do-overs with their children.
Girl,
Mhm.
what you said.
Right? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what it
That
is.
do-over.
The do-over.
And it's
They don't
like
want you
they're
to
not.
make the same mistakes, but sometimes you have to make those
There you
mistakes
go.
in
Right.
order to learn.
Yes,
Right.
100%.
Yeah. I was a parent
100%.
like that though. I'm gonna be honest. I
That's real.
was like, I don't want y'all, trying to what they call it, helicopter mom.
Yes.
Well, I was a little like that.
Yeah. Because you don't want them to fall through the pitfalls. You want
Right.
them to learn from
Right.
you.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's how you phrase it, because you
Mhm.
want them to still live their lives
Yeah.
and kind of bump their head a little bit, because that gives them the experience so they won't do it again.
Mhm.
Like if you tell them,
Right.
then they may do it again. But also, I believe in more is caught.
Oh yeah.
So
that's it.
sometimes just
Mhm.
by how you're living and how you're
Definitely.
behaving, even with sons, would you say? Because I have 2 daughters. I
Mhm.
got a lot of adopted daughters too. But would you say that would be the same even as a mom showing their children more is caught than taught? Because I
Yeah.
know the woman is kind of easier because it's the same. But would you
Right.
say it's the same for
Well,
sons?
well, they always say the sons end up wanting to marry a woman like their mom.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Because
Yes.
they do watch their mothers.
Yes.
And they are close to their mothers.
Yes.
So they do watch how we handle things.
Yes.
They watch how we handle their father.
Yes.
They watch how we handle others.
Yes.
They even watch how we take care of the things that God has given us.
Yes.
So I would say in that aspect, it is true.
Yes.
And they say they also learn how to treat a woman
Yes.
based on, of course,
Yes.
the examples they've seen
Yes.
as well. So I believe that.
And how you're allowing someone to treat you.
Yeah.
You're paying attention.
That
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
That part. More is caught in that part as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of jealous of y'all a little bit, because I would love the son, because the way that they love their moms, and they
yeah.
don't play about their
They don't.
moms. Daughters too, but it's different with like a son and a
Mhm.
mother.
Mhm.
It's a bond. Dang, I don't
Yeah.
have a son,
Yeah.
and it's so interesting, because when I look at the dynamics of moms and sons, even as they grow up. Even when we watch the drafts for the sports teams and their mom, and even when Kevin Durant was like, my mom is the MVP, right? And always, and it's no diss to dads, but it's always like, I can't wait to buy my mother a house. Right. I can't wait to take care of my mother. I can't wait to retire my mother. So it's a special love between a son and a mom. Yes. Shall we bring the other ladies?
Oh, yeah, I know they itching.
They're itching.
Getting this conversation.
All right. So I definitely, but I wanted just to take a moment with you all here. All right, welcome back. Thank you for your patience. She said we would be right back, and we are right back. Joining us is Cassandra, and joining me, I should say, is Cassandra and Valencia. We're talking about this amazing book, My Son, Don't Forget My Teaching. This is such a powerful conversation thus far, and I have two more guests coming up. Again, you're watching Kendéll Lenice live. We just need to put the little up there so you know what we're watching. Jordan, if you could do that, I appreciate that. That's fine. That's fine. All right, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, so what we're doing now is talking to these amazing authors, and I am going to bring up two others. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and please share this conversation out. All right, so next up, we're meeting the authors. So far, you have met two. This is I want to make sure I say her name right again. Placida Braswell is a seasoned leader with over 20 years of experience in ministry and marketplace, widely recognized for inspiring individuals to move beyond pain and embrace a life of purpose. In 2020, she and her husband, Eric, founded Braswellness Group, a coaching practice dedicated to healing and strengthening relationships. Placida is a contributing author in Dear Daughter 2017, the book that Cassandra talked about, and Couples Determined to Make Marriage Great in 2022. That came out. Her upcoming book, as this is out, My Son, reflecting her belief that family is her first ministry. Welcome, Placida Braswell, to Kendéll Lenice Live.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I am so happy to see you. Congratulations on the book.
As Cassandra shared, we had to jump through some hurdles to get here, but it wasn't us, it was God. At the appointed time, this book is here. So we're so grateful to be a part of this project.
Absolutely. And if you want to, because it'll inspire someone who is writing now or putting a compilation book together, anthology, if you will, of words with multiple authors. Can you tell me some of the hurdles that you had to jump through? Because that's going to inspire somebody else, because someone else is going to see that as a stop sign.
Yeah, working with just stops, right? Stops with the publishing company, different barriers that came up out of nowhere. Submitting a manuscript that was flawless, only to find out that you get it back and the program that they put it in created errors. And now you had to go back through it. And, it was things that weren't, some were in, I guess, man's control, but some were not. Some were things that just happened that caused us to feel, as Cassandra shared, that the enemy really just did not want this book to make it to the shelves, because it is so vital, because it is so important for some of the very reasons you mentioned, Kendéll, in the beginning, that our sons specifically, have a different path. They don't have the same path that many others have to walk down. And so, back in, just prior to COVID, the pandemic, I remember living maybe it was like 2009, 2010. I lived in a gated community, and yet I needed to warn my sons about walking down the street with hoods, a hoodie on, because they could be harmed or they could be perceived as a harm, and therefore taken out, as we saw, right? We've lived through, our sons being pulled over for no reason at all, right? Handcuffed, mishandled, pulled out the car, searched, all kinds of things. My brother was harassed by, cops because of the color of his skin. He had done nothing wrong. And they held him overnight, only to release him later, because they had nothing on him, but who he was as a Black man. And so we live a very different life, and we
No, that's real. What she's saying is true,
right?
Whether people want to believe it, whether people want to receive that, it's true. The world we're in, the statistics don't lie. So what we're going through, whether it's uprising, we call it the uprising, they may call it something different, but it is true. And a mother of a son is in a protection mode, where other, nationalities, to keep it real, they could be talking about other things that may help them flourish. Not that Black mothers don't, but they can help them flourish, help them to move forward in life. But we can't just focus on that. We have to focus on protection. We have to focus on safety. How difficult is that? Oftentimes, I know we're believers, but trusting when they go out, right? When they get in the car, right? Now, when they're walking down the street, like, you don't even have to be doing anything. What is that like sometimes, especially when your sons were growing up? And we're going to invite Robin on.
Well, as Placido was talking, and as you were talking, I thought about an incident. It wasn't necessarily, because when you send your son to school, you think that's a safe place. Not when it's a predominantly white school.
Talk about it.
And my children went to a predominantly white school.
Talk about it.
So one day I remember my son was in high school. He came home, because I will also always ask him, how was your day? How was school? So he was laughing. And was telling me he was laughing that someone called him the N-word. And he thought it was a joke. I said, that's not funny, right?
And how old is he?
He is 30 this year.
So I'm putting this in context. We're not talking about the 50s. We're not talking about the 40s or the 60s. We're talking about the 2000s.
Right. So he tried to protect the team member because he played football. So basically, someone had put their arm up, wouldn't let him come through the door, and said, no Blacks allowed, right? So I said, oh, really? I said, that's not funny. So I, in return, I called the school. And I said, a statement was made to my son, and I want to have a conversation with the principal. So, of course, when I got there, here comes the black mom. You know, the black mom is supposed to be out of control. That's the way they look at us. We're going to be all emotional.
Right.
No, I was very
That's how you got to do it.
I know.
That's how you
I know
do
how
it.
to have grace under.
That's how you got. Come on.
You know,
That's how you. And that's, but even that. Let's
Right.
pause on that
Right.
for a moment.
Right.
Another mother can come up there hysterical, rollers in their hair, sweatpants, a coffee stain, and it's not looked at and enraged, right?
Right.
But if we come up there, we have to think about that.
Mhm.
How are we going to walk into this school?
Right.
How are we going to be a stereotype? Because that's a natural reaction when your child is being harmed, right? Verbally harmed. But it's like just even that alone,
Right.
that you have to make sure you watch it and not be the stereotype and not be up all ghetto or what they think is ghetto or what they think it is.
Right.
So just even that alone is something that other people don't have to think about. Like, how are we representing us? How are we representing our children? How are we representing our family and our community?
Yeah.
Like, we got to, it's a lot that we have to think about before we even do something like that, because we didn't even get to the sun yet on what you said. So what happened when you got there?
Of course, the principal was there. They had the school security there. And at that time, he was staying with another sport. He didn't want to get his football player teammate in trouble. So he was saying it was a lacrosse player that did it. And so the lacrosse coach was there, and it wasn't adding up.
Yeah.
Finally got it, the truth that it was another football player.
Yes.
Right. So the young man did get suspended and off the team. His father was bold enough to call us on the phone and said he apologized. I was like, how did this man get my phone number? Right. Called to apologize. But it taught my son a lesson. Just, you don't take what people say to you.
That's right.
And so and of course, going on, my son apologized for not telling the truth because he was trying to protect his team.
Yes.
Right. So it was funny after that.
Trying to be a good human.
Right. It was something after that. I was known for the mother you don't mess with. Right. And so all these mothers,
that happened in my daughter's elementary school with the lunch lady.
The mother you don't mess with. Then all of a sudden, right, these black mothers began to have problems with teachers and other things. And how did you deal with this? I said, I just called the meeting.
Isn't that something?
I just called the meeting. That's all I did.
So, but you're already taking initiative and laying that path as a leader. You teach leadership, and you are.
Right.
I want to bring Robin into the conversation because this is good. I knew this would be good. So Robin Worrell Thorne, she is another author of this amazing book, and we're also going to bring Placida back up to join this conversation as well. But Robin is a dedicated professional entrepreneur and published author with over 25 years of experience in clinical research and 20 years as a licensed senior cosmetologist. Okay, like Valencia. She has also served as radio hostess and a business owner, holding dual degrees in arts and science. Robin cherishes her role as a mother and a grandmother, and she is committed to a lifelong learning and uplifting others through her work. Welcome, Robin, to Kendéll Lenice Live.
Hey.
Hey, Robin.
What? Thanks for having me. I was waiting. I was like, come on, get me.
I know you were. You're like, tag me in.
Get me.
Right. Didn't forget about you. You see your sisters up here looking amazing.
Yes, they are representing. This is good. I almost forgot I was part of the show because I was enjoying it so much.
I love it. So, Robin, why did you say yes to this phenomenal project?
So I said yes because I was already journaling about some things that my son had gone through. And Cassandra is so awesome because I know that God connected us with this appointed time for this, because as he was going through what he was going through, she had mentioned something about the book. And I said, if I could put all this together, I'd already done a collaboration book before. So I said, if I can add this to hers and she's okay with that,
this is going to work out, because I didn't have enough to write a whole book about. It was just a situation that my son had gone through. So I said, this would be good to fit in there. So it worked out. It all came together. And I know it was God who put it together, who orchestrated it.
Absolutely. As I ask these wonderful ladies here, can you remember a teaching that you taught your son when he was younger that he still abides by today? Like, one thing my mother told me was, because every child has that.
So this was a little bit funny. I told him, he said, my mother had to beat me real hard one time, and I never had to get another beating, because I felt like somebody said something about if you touch something or if you experience something, then you won't have to experience it again. So the day he tells his son, he said, I don't need my belt to hold my pants up. So they know. So he said he gave the oldest one a whooping one time, and and the oldest one is almost 17. He'll be 17 next month. He never had to beat anybody again, because he said, all he had said, my pants don't need a belt to stay up. That means I could take that belt off. So I think he got that from me. I said, if I beat him one time and it's good, I don't never have to do it again.
But that I know, look at you, you're tickled, and we are too, because it's so funny. Like I was saying, more is caught than taught. Like you it's the generational, right? Yes, like you'll hear them say the same things. Like I walk past the mirror and I see my mother, or you hear you saying something and say, like, wait a minute, what's happening here? That's like the Matrix.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even my sister said you're young.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was saying, even my sister said, this mommy, when I come by it, my mother's name was Lucille. Well, it still is, but she's with the Lord. And they say, here come little Lucille.
Before we bring Placida back up, because we definitely want everybody in this conversation at the same time. What is a lesson when you see your son, or a teaching that you wish you would have told your son that's not in the book or not in your journal, but it's something that you often teach your child, your adult child?
Are you asking me or Placida? Is Placida back?
You. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I would probably say choices, like I shouldn't even choice, people who you're going to be with for your loved one, whoever you're going to choose to be with the rest of your life. Get to know them, make sure it's someone that, and someone said, sons pick women like their mom, and my son didn't pick nobody like me. So I would make better choices. And now he knows, because of what he's gone through in previous relationship.
I love that. So Placida, we're going to welcome her back into the conversation. Mm-hmm. Placida. Hey.
Hi, Placida.
Hello. Hey, I'm back. I don't know what happened, but I'm back.
That's all right. That's all right. All that matters is that you are back. So I want to read some excerpts. I have some here, but do you have others that you want me to read?
Well, no, when she asked the question, because that question is, because we have some questions and answers in the book. So Robin, when you said the question was in the book, how do I know if she's the right girl in my life? Right?
That's it.
The answer was, first pray and ask God, then watch for character traits that will represent a girl of love, grace, character, truth, and faith.
Yes.
Charm is deceitful, and beauty is vain.
Yes.
But a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised.
Yes.
Proverbs 31:30.
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
So we're gonna go. I was gonna go into we're gonna talk about this later. That here. All right, so let's talk about that, because that is something. Your sons, they're dating, right? Some married or looking to get married, and I know you faith-filled women, have raised your sons in that manner. So what is one, we see what Robin is saying, but what is something that you have in yourself that you want your son to have in a wife, not being like you, but something that you said, you know what, this is something that he's seen in me. This is the trait. And that you, if you notice your son going after that similar trait. Yes.
Perseverance.
Perseverance. I love that. I love that.
You have to have perseverance in this life because all kinds of things are coming at you.
Yes.
And you have to be able to keep moving forward.
Yes.
You have
Yes.
to.
And seeing his mom persevere in spite of everything, right? He can't have a, I don't want to say, but a weaker woman who is going to crumble and fall apart because that's not what he saw.
Come on now.
Right? Like, wait a minute.
When the tough get going,
when the tough get going,
you leave.
That part, right? To really have perseverance. I think that's a huge trait to have.
Yeah.
For your sons, you have 3, right? Like wanting that in a mate, right? And to be spiritually grounded.
Absolutely.
To know the Lord. So that's important for all of them. How I know it's important, but how important is that? And any of you can answer that.
I'm gonna give them a chance.
Oh, relationship.
How important is being spiritually grounded?
Yes.
Oh, it's everything. It's everything. So I was going to say resourcefulness, but I was going to say right within the middle of resourcefulness, you find source. Your source is God. And so, you know, all things come from God. And so not just your mate should come from God. If your mate just came from the club, that's the wrong mate, right? If your mate just, not that you can't meet a mate in the club, right? But because some people get together before they find, you know, salvation or whatever the case may be. But who she is, who is her source? Her source, you can't be her source. You know, a lot of times we get into relationships and we want the other person to be everything. But God should always come before whoever you're with. And the same should be true for them as well. And so if that is the case, then the resource that comes from that is going to be abundant.
That's good. That's good. That's really good.
And you know, that made me think about Pastor. A lot of times we have expectations about how our mate is going to be. I believe that's the setup. I honestly believe that's the setup because then God starts working on you, right? When you think your mate is supposed to be this type of mate and do this type of thing, then all of a sudden God flipped the script and then let me work on you.
That's right.
Let me work on you because you need to let me be your source. You need to let me be your resource, and you need to humble yourself and allow me to change because you're right. You're not going to meet a perfect mate. None of my children, they are all married.
Yes.
None of their mates were perfect.
Yes.
None of them. But what we did see in them.
And how many sons do you have?
I had 2 boys and 2 girls.
Okay.
But what we did see while we saw that they had hearts and they loved our children. So when they love them, you're going to respect that. You may not be perfect. And what happened was God said, now how are you going to handle this? So, you know, we set up a Bible study.
With all the married.
Yes.
Okay.
So now are you gonna teach your children first? Because I have called you to the family first. So we set up a weekly Bible study and they love it. They love it. I mean, they like right now, right after this, I gotta do the Bible study, right?
Wow.
But they're like, okay, we got Bible study, and they love it.
So it's all the spouses.
It's all of it.
I love that.
It's all of it.
I love that.
And this is what happens. So when you see and identify, because sometimes God will bring the toughest situations in our life.
Yeah.
And God said, how are you going to handle it?
How are you going to handle it?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Number one, to show them who I am.
Yes.
To show them the love of Christ.
Yes.
And to show them I can change anybody.
That's right.
So that's why I always say, how are you going to handle this?
That's right.
Because we all accountable for what we do.
And like Cassandra said, family is the first ministry.
Right.
And I think sometimes people get caught up and forget that.
Yeah.
Like you're everything to everybody outside of your home, right?
Oh,
everybody, you're just the perfect, the model person outside of your home. But there's chaos in your home, and you're treating people who live in the home like they ain't even part of the family, right?
That's right. But then they get your leftovers.
Right, exactly. Getting the praise from everybody. Oh, they're so amazing. They're so fantastic. But that's not how you're showing up in your home. It's so important to make sure that is stabilized the best as possible with the Lord, because you don't want a woman coming in thinking your son is the guy.
Right.
No, absolutely.
Right. No.
That's too much pressure.
That's too much pressure.
Yeah.
Too much.
I wish it could be like you could start off how you're going to be toward the end when you're older, and then you can go down to looking like you looked when they first met you. Because when they start changing, even attitude, personality, body image, when it starts changing, sometimes the relationship starts changing. So Cassandra said, if they could just be grounded in the Lord and know, like we said in the book, beauty is vain. You have to know that they may change and the personalities may change and get a certain age and hormones start doing what they're doing. And are you still going to love them if they can't work? If they, something happened, they're sick, are you still going to love them and be there?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes.
But Robbie, you know what it is? We also got to look at the time we live in versus when we were coming up and dating. These young people got a lot coming at them through social media, through all that, because and what they see is they see false models. And when I say that, they see people pretend like it's right. Yeah. And and the girls want the fabulous body, so they get all the extra work and all that. I ain't got nothing, I'm not saying I'm against that, but it ain't just for me because I don't like needles. But this is what we got to sometimes I think that we have to ask God to bring us to where we are now, because it's different. Yes, it's totally different.
Looking at it from the book, we stand with you, for you, as the voice of change. We remind every son, do not give up. Do not forget the truth your mother taught you. What is some truth, that you taught your son, and your son was able to regurgitate that and say, this is the truth? Because I think it's so important. I'm going to start with Robin. I'm going to go to Placida, and then I'm going to go to Valencia. And then.
Okay, so some truth that I taught him, the love of Christ, that's never going to change. Even if no one else loves you, Christ loves you. And also, you have to get educated. You have to be able to take care of yourself. And if things don't go well with one situation, you had to have a backup plan. I think you read my bio, got 16 different things going on, so you can always have a backup plan. So and he's like that. He's mimicked that. So I think that's a truth that I put into him, and he's still doing it.
I love it.
You are who God says you are. You are not what this world says about you. You are not even what I say about you. You are who God says you are. Your identity is fixed in Christ. And so you get to find out what that means by getting to know him, because he knows you better than anybody, even me. He's your creator. He just trusted you to me. And so I'm doing my very best, but I'm imperfect. Yes. I'm imperfect. But he is perfect
because we own these kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes we think we own these kids. They are individuals. They're God. They have God's purpose and plan, right? Not our purpose and plan. And I think that's so important for mothers to understand and to recognize. They're loaned to us. We are the vessels, but we don't control. And I think a lot of parents can learn from that, because some parents think that they take ownership of the children, right? So what about you, Valencia?
I always tell them, that I love you, but God loves you. He loves you more than I do. He loves you best. The other thing is I tell them that always, like I said, always, continually just do your best. I want you just to, we're all going to make mistakes.
Yes.
No one is perfect.
No.
I mean, God does not want perfection.
Come on.
He just
because if it's perfection, we wouldn't need him.
We wouldn't need him.
Right. There's no way for him to show up, and we're, perfect.
Right.
So, those are the things that I tell them.
I love it. It's powerful. Cassandra?
And you know what I think what me and my husband actually taught our kids is the power of family. That we are not a perfect family, but we have each other's back.
Yes.
And I think when they were growing up, we used to tell them they would have friend issues, you know, but it was one thing I would tell them. I said, people may walk away from you, but you will always have your sister and brother. And to this day, they are very close. They are best friends. I said, you can always have your sister and brother.
I love it.
And they gonna always have your back.
I love that.
And so that taught them the value and the strength in a family.
Yes. And I think that a lot of times, because a lot of families are in survival mode and dealing with, you know, hurt and trauma. And I think sometimes certain things are not intentionally said because people are just trying to make it through. And we have all kinds of homes, right, to try to do that. So to be able to instill the things that you're instilling and really being purposeful, not perfect, not perfect, but purposeful. I think purposeful parenting is super important. All right. So I want to ask you ladies this. What was the most emotional and powerful chapter or moment while writing this book? Like that, because we know, right, as a writer myself, I know that writing is cathartic, right? And sometimes you don't know what's going to come out. I interview and they were interviewing me and they were like, you said this. I was like, I did in my own book, because sometimes God takes over. A lot of times, and you don't even remember. You ever said something, and somebody say repeat it, you like, I don't know what I just said, because the God moved. So I know that was happening. I know that was happening in this book. But what was one of the most emotional and tough excerpts or chapters that you had to write in this book? And anybody can go, and we're just going to have that.
I can go.
Okay.
So my chapter is called The Prodigal's Son, right? Me as the prodigal, right? So my chapter was about my missteps. And well, actually, it's about identity, purpose, and calling. And I used my missteps as a platform to help my sons understand that. And I have 5 of them. I have 5 sons. And so I want them to know that I don't.
Can we pause for a moment? Y'all got the village. Y'all got all this. Y'all got the sons for me too. 5 sons, 3 sons, 2 sons. How many sons do you have, Robin?
I just have 1.
Okay. So you still got 1 more than me.
No, but look, I always wanted a and I'm gonna let you finish, Plastic. I wanted a little girl and didn't get one. And guess what? Now I have my granddaughter.
See?
I was gonna say I have daughters for you too.
I have a grandson.
Yeah. But I have her. Like I'm her mother and her grandma. Like I have.
Wow. Oh wow.
Yes. Yes.
It gives you the desires of your heart, and you don't even know how it's
the Lord. But yes. I said, not right now. I wonder when I was younger now. Go ahead, Plastic. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just basically saying, you know, to share with the world your missteps is never going to be an easy thing. It's a little easy for me because it's kind of what I do for a living. My testimony is a part of my work, but you know, to just use that as a platform to help them to understand that their missteps, God can even use those. He can even use those. But the important thing is that you turn your life and you turn your heart back towards him and let him make your mess your message.
Yes. Come on.
And so, you know, that was, you know, it was cathartic, as you said. It was, I wouldn't say it was difficult, but it was intentional. And it, I think it mattered. My youngest, because my youngest will be 18 in July, he said to me, Mom, this book is awesome. You ladies, you know, you have really given me a lot to think about. And he said that today.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Oh, wow. I love that. I hope he's watching. We're going to shout your sons out at the end. We're going to shout them out for sure.
Yes.
Robin, what was something emotional that came up for you as you were writing?
So my chapter, because my son, I don't want to be a spoiler, but he attempted suicide. So the chapter itself, so I had been writing, and And guess what? The delay for the book was so needed because I was finishing a book and I said I had 2 grandsons. But guess what? Since we had that 5-year delay, I have a 5-year-old granddaughter. So Cassandra said we need to write more, and I said, "Oh, I can add the baby," and then and her mother gave her up, so I ended up with her. I mean, my son had.
I love that.
Yep. So yeah, it was the whole chapter is emotional and therapeutic at the same time.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Valencia?
Yes. As Robin said, it was very therapeutic, but it also was it was challenging.
Yeah.
It was really challenging for me to write, especially the part under Angel's story. It talks about my son who passed away. And so that piece was really challenging when we had to go back and, I had to revisit it over and over again to edit it.
Yeah.
And I had to get it right. So I had to do it, but it's emotional now. I think about, this thing, But the part under Angel's story, I think I told you that it was really hard for me to do it. And it was one time I just threw my work. I was like, man, why you want me to do this? I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you having me go through this? But it was therapeutic. He needed me to do it so I can stand up, so I can help somebody else who may, going through the same thing, maybe considering to go out and have a child at a young age,
That, I mean, and before we even get to you with the emotional part, I definitely want to address that because there are a lot of women out there who've had sons that are no longer here. And they may say, I don't even want to read about that. I don't want to read about sons. I lost my son. I lost my only son. But you just empowered someone just by you writing and sharing. That's going to bless a mother who has lost their son. And we know there's a lot of mothers who are sonless based off of health, violence. We already know what's happening, right? You talked about wearing, Placida talked about wearing a hood. We already know, So thinking about that, you just encourage someone without even knowing it to pick up the book and say, if you could read it, you can write it, I can read it. That's what somebody is saying right now.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
If you can
write it, they can read it because they know where you've been.
Right.
And there's a special mother out there who knows where you've been.
That's it.
And who is right here now. And you might inspire another woman to pick up a pen, to type out and share what she's going through and what she taught, or to inspire another. You don't know. Just by you pushing through. That's purposeful. I'm proud of you for that.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
It hurts, but you can do it.
Yes.
You can push through it. You can keep moving.
Yeah. You can do all things, right?
All things through Christ.
Right.
Give you the strength.
So what about you, Miss Cassandra? I know it because you, first of all, if you're just tuning in, Cassandra is the one that gathered these women together and say, hey, this is what I want to do. She had a book for the daughters, and this is the book for the son. So she put this whole project together. So I know that this was something I want to ask you, why, right? Why? I know you have the daughter one, but why did you decide, other than them saying, what about the sons? What was special to you that said, you know what, I'm doing it?
Yeah.
And then also what was emotional for you as you were, because you had to read everybody's, you had to write yours and read yours. So your energy is over here, right? And then I know that you were probably sitting with it and putting things together. So what was emotional other than you making it through and this is a published book?
Well, you know what? First of all, I am just so grateful for each author.
Yes.
For their willingness to share their story.
Yes.
Because we also have another author whose son passed in the book. And even to be,
and let's speak her name,
Tracy Ross. And even for them to basically be vulnerable to tell their story, that was emotional for me.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I can't believe these ladies are willing to do this and tell their story. So, that part was emotional, but then I had a part where God was chin checking me. Y'all know what a chin check is, right? Yeah, you're checking. So basically, my story is about watch what you say out of your mouth. How many times I wanted to say something to my boys as I was writing this? Really, it was like they were working my reserve nerve. But God said, remember what you wrote. Remember what you're writing.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. So I really had to live out authentically what I was writing. And I believe
that's a chin check.
That's a chin check.
That's
because I believe that, almost like when a preacher say, when they're preaching a sermon, they say, well, I had to walk through this sermon. Well, I had to walk, these are sermons. And I'm pretty sure we all had to walk through them. But, it's just the authenticity in here, the transparency, the love. Like, we really, 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 really not only want the sons to get this, but the people that are raising sons.
That
part.
And that's the aunties, the godmothers, that's the grandmothers. Because we know, in many communities, the mom may not be raising the son, right? But they are the mother, whether it's a neighbor, friend, cousin, big sisters are raising sons, grandmothers. So this is for everybody. If you have raised a son, or you're raising a son, or your son is raising a son, or your daughter is raising a son, this is a great book to get them. These are teachings. This is spiritually based. They're sharing their stories. You heard part of the stories today, and there's much more in there. We can't give everything away because we want you to really purchase this book. And we also want you to purchase the one to the daughters. What's the name of that one? Dear Daughter. Available on Amazon?
Yep.
Okay. And we're going to properly make sure you know where to get this at the end. What is the legacy that you want to leave other mothers and your sons through this book?
I think the legacy is this. Not only are we putting our teachings in a book form for today's time, but we're putting our teachings in a book that our children's children
That's legacy.
can pick up. That's legacy. And I think that when people don't realize, when you pen a book or when you write a book, you may be gone unto glory, but somebody will still hear your teachings. Somebody will still hear your voice. So that's a legacy within itself.
Yes. What about you, Placida?
So I'm going to read my life-giving teaching because I think that it says it best. It says, it is better to be broken and honest before God than prideful with a false sense of self. God is not afraid of your shortcomings, your bad decisions, or your sin. Hurry back to God in any area that you go astray and allow him to help you put the pieces of your life back together again. Your identity, your purpose, and your calling are hanging in the balance of your obedience.
Woo! That's so powerful.
It is.
That's so powerful. My God. It is hanging in your obedience.
Hanging in your obedience.
Yes. Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Wow,
Really.
Placida. What about you, Robin? What is the legacy that you want to leave through your writing this book, your participation in this amazing project?
Well, everything is a process. So I would just continue to say, trust the process. That's my chapter title as well. But trust the process, because everything is a process. And it might be a slow process, fast, medium, but everything is a process. And you have to trust the process. Don't give up.
I love that. Valencia?
I'm going to read also from Life Giving Teachings under my chapter. And it says, timeless values start within and find a way to influence our family relationships and other parts of our lives, and eventually even the world. Timeless values have no expiration date. They are not like milk. I teach my sons to be the best version of themselves they can be. I teach them that doing the right thing may not always feel good, which is in distinct contrast to what they hear in the world, such as, if it feels good, do it. Doing the right thing may not always feel good, but it will certainly do you good.
I love that. Doing the right thing doesn't always feel good, but it will certainly do you good.
Yeah, that's good.
I love that. That's real good. Okay, you were in your writing bag. I see. You were doing because that's wisdom, right? That's teaching, right? And sometimes even if you're not a writer per se, right? It's still teaching and you're putting that down. And that's what I want to encourage everybody to do. And so many people come up to me because I'm an author. You probably do it to you, your author. Oh, I have a book in me. So why is it still in you? That's what I ask. Why is it still in you? And I teach workshops on how people can create their book, starting from the title down to the cup, everything. Because I want to be a helper in that way. And I coach them into writing what they want. And with you writing, even from a hard place, even from a place of lack and loss, place of pain and trauma and tragedy, to be able to do that. Just think about if once you leave this earth, if your thoughts and your words weren't left here, honoring your son in that way. Think about that. And so many people go to the cemeteries full. We want to leave here empty, right? So there's always, everybody got a story to tell. And some people say nobody want to listen. Everybody wants to listen if it's authentic, if it's teaching, because sometimes you're teaching without even knowing it because you're just relaying your life experience. And that's what it is. Yes. So with when I think about in you, I know being very emotional about this whole project, and for people saying yes to you, right? To say, you know what? I'm about to tear up because I know what that feels like for me when you have a vision and someone's like, yes, I'm on board with your vision, because they know who you follow, and it's not a lot of questions asked, because we're similar that way, and that's God. How does that feel when they said yes, even hard, even being hard, being honest, being vulnerable, sharing parts of them that they might want to keep to themselves,
You know what? I feel so grateful because they didn't have to say yes. And that's something I often tell my kids too. Nobody has to do anything.
Oh, that's what I used to teach my kids.
Nobody has to do anything for you. And if they do it, be grateful. And so I'm very grateful that these women, and I know a lot of them have been in my life a long time. And I'm grateful that I have been an example or a type of friend that they could say, Cassandra's consistent. Cassandra, whatever she says she's gonna do, she's gonna do.
Yes.
So I'm just grateful for that. But I'm just truly, truly, truly grateful that they stuck with it. Because like I said, in Plastic said, we dropped over some hurdles, right?
Yes.
And so,
and I heard Robin, you said it was you said that it was prolonged, but I think Robin said 5 years.
5 years.
Yes, 5 years.
Because when you were saying that it took, I'm thinking like, okay, a year, maybe 8 months, 5 years.
Yep, we were in a fight for 5 years, and we're still in the fight, because there's things.
Yeah, my internet didn't mess up until I started dropping gems on this show. My internet didn't go out until then, right? I started getting dropped off.
Girl.
But guess what? You still up here dropping them. He ain't gonna win this fight.
That's right. But like
He ain't gonna win.
think about it. We are willing to take a stand, and we say this in the book. We are willing to take a stand for our boys.
Yes.
And so it's a
movement.
It's a movement.
It's a movement. So I want you to give your plea. There's nothing wrong with a plea, right? A plea is not begging. A plea is for these sons, we need to plead, right? We need to change some things and transform some things in the way that we mother, in the way that we look after our sons and what we tell them, not just little kids, right? Because I just have to say this. Mamas, your son is not your man.
Come on.
Son is your son.
Yes.
See, a lot of these women, like she hiding her face. Because a lot of these women make a 6-year-old the man of the house. Right?
That's true.
You're the protector of the family, you're the provider, whatever you say. These sons, whether you're divorced, whether your husband is there but not really there, whether he's emotionally absent, whether your son is not your man, ladies. Your son is your son, right? So you can't get what you need from your man, even if your husband's sitting right next to you and he don't understand, he ain't emotional, but your son is. And we have to change that, especially these Black mamas. I'm gonna keep it real always. They're not your husband, they're not your boyfriend, they're not your friend. They are your sons. And it's up to the mother to teach the sons. The dads have their place in teaching the sons, but the mothers have their place to teach the sons, right? So I had to say that. So now let me get back to my plea, but God was like, say that, right?
Yeah.
Because you're putting too much pressure on some of these sons. So then when they get a woman that's almost like you, they think that it's healthy to be in a relationship with this woman because it's like the mama, and they're trying to suck them dry and get everything they can get out of this son emotionally because he thinks it's normal and healthy because the mama did it. So we have to change that narrative and allow your son to be the man he is and allow him to grow up and doing these teachings as this book is saying, so we can raise healthy and strong sons from the inside out. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so ladies, what's your plea for people to, and Placid, I put the book on, that was funny.
Well, I will say, I love what you said.
Thank you.
I love what you said. I love the scripture that says, raise your child in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they won't depart from it. There is another way to look at that. We typically look at that scripture as, raise them up in the Lord, and then when they're old, they won't depart from the Lord, and that's good and that's true. But there is a specific way that God made your son, and your job is to see that and to know how God made your son, so you could raise him up in the way that he should go, so that he will not depart from it. And it has everything to do with purpose, and it has everything to do with freedom in Christ to be who God called him to be, not who you want him to be or who you need him to be, or what fits your, what your agenda is, or just because he looked like his daddy, he ain't ever gonna be nothing, or whatever it is. Raise him up in the way that he should go. And when that he is old, he will not depart from it. And sons, I tell you this, and this is, I didn't get to say it because I think I got blinked out or something. But one of the things that, in fact, the very first scripture that I taught my sons was, I can do, and you said it, I was in the backstage listening, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Son, just because you failed, get back up, fail forward. Don't fail back. Fail forward. Do the next best thing and keep going, because God's got you.
That's good. That's good.
Yes.
That's good. Well, why should people buy this book?
They should buy this book, one, because it is we've been sending a message to Black men, Black sons, for a long time that isn't healthy. Buy this book and pour into.
Come on now. Robin, why should people buy this book?
Oh my goodness.
You dropping it down. You got it. You got it.
They should buy the book because it is healthy.
The mic drop.
The mic drop.
That's right, Kendéll. It was a mic drop. They should buy this book because this movement is fire and it is healthy, and we are determined to stand for our sons.
Come on now, Robin.
Yep, I agree with Placida. It's not even about a purchase and we're making no money off this. We buy this book because it's a movement. It's going to help someone. And when you buy it, pass it on. Let somebody else read it and keep it moving. Yep. So, and I want to say to mothers, don't give up on your sons. I don't care if they're incarcerated. I don't care if they're not like you groomed them to be a certain way and they're not. Don't give up on them. Just don't give up on your sons. Don't give up on any of your children, but don't give up on your sons, because the world is beating them up and giving up on them. So they can't have us give up on them as well.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Valencia, why should people buy this book?
Because they want to read the 7 powerful things that I've learned from life.
Come on.
And I'm not going to read them all to
Mm-mm,
y'all
'cause
because
you
y'all
give them too
gotta,
much.
y'all gotta get this book.
That's
You know, you
Yes.
have to get this book.
You gotta
So
get it.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you. Well, y'all got a little bit, you know.
Right.
If this conversation doesn't make you want to get this book, get how about get 2? Get the book, then gift the book.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
give it to somebody you see. Bless somebody with it. Somebody you see with a son, a mother, the son at the playground, at the mall. Give them a book. So have one for you, and then get one to gift one. Cassandra, of course, I'm going to end with you. Why should they buy the book, and how can they buy the book?
But first of all, these in this book are real mamas
As you can see,
that had real sons that went through real life lessons. So when you feel like, oh, I'm the only one going through this, I bet you you're going to find a story in the book to show you you're not the only one going through it. Well, we got through it, and you can get through it too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get the book on Amazon, or you can go to westbowpress.com and purchase the book. We're on Amazon, my son, Google, or Westbow Press, which is the publishing company, to get it as well. So I would say that the other ladies have said it as well, and you said, gift it to someone. I know we like to have conversations. Some people say, well, girl, that boy done got on my nerves. Oh, I got a book for you. I got a book for you. And so I would say get it and keep it in your library, pass it on. But these are real life lessons that we went through with our boys.
I told y'all deep talks, dope guests, and divine moments, because this was definitely not scripted, and there was some divine moments here. I want to leave you, did the scripture foundation. My son, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments for the length of days and years of life worth living. And tranquility and prosperity, the wholeness of life's blessings, they will add to you. Proverbs 3, verse 1 through 2. This was amazing.
Thank you.
This was very insightful for somebody who doesn't have sons yet. Somebody out there pregnant or want to have children, to have a blueprint that's based in the Lord, and to hear real life experiences and being vulnerable and honest about who you are and how you raise your son. Because it's not about raising perfect sons. It's about raising sons with some type of substance, and having God at the center of their lives. I just want to thank everybody for watching. Valencia, thank you. Cassandra, thank you. Placida, Robin, thank you so much. And I'm shouting out Jordan for helping as well. Thank you so much. Again, tell them where we are and the address of this amazing place.
So we are here live in the Elevation Global Media Group studio in White Marsh, Maryland. So you can Google us, but you can also call us at 443-307-1241, or visit us on the website, www.elevationglobalmediagroup.com, and we will respond.
Yes, and it was important for me to do this here. We're having a meeting of the minds tomorrow, but it's important for me to be able to be in a Black-owned establishment, a woman-owned establishment, and to support you, right? And to get the word out about this amazing studio. How many studios are in here?
We have 9 sets.
9 different sets in here. So if you're looking to do that, the same phone number?
Yeah,
Same phone number if you're looking to have a show or have a conversation. There's a lot of different sets. It's amazing in here. It's beautiful in here. And it's owned by this lovely lady who we reconnected. I bet we met 20 years ago. 20 years ago when I first walked in here.
I'm glad I treated you right.
Right. Me too.
Really, you can see people for 20 years, they'll treat you
right. And I'm glad I still look the same. She was like, I'm glad I look the same. I'm glad I don't look like what I've been through. Right?
Yes, honey.
It's so important. Again, when I say divine moments, right? It was purposeful. I came here to just help out, right? To be a judge with these amazing young entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And I was referred, and that's I want to say that, like, your a reputation goes a long way.
Yes.
And when you do right by
Right.
people,
Yes.
you know, because I was referred to do this. You know what I
Right,
mean? And
right.
like you said,
Right.
I'm glad I treated you right. It's important. It's important.
Right.
Important. We're talking about sons, but it's important to be the best version of you can possibly be.
Yes.
And not run around telling everybody you're a believer,
Right.
but show it through your actions.
Yes.
And who you are,
Right.
who you show up to be. But everybody, thank you so much for watching. Whether you're watching live or the replay, don't forget to share this out to someone with sons. It's important that they hear this conversation and to be able to know about this book. These are the kind of conversations, I'm gonna keep saying it, that need to go viral. These kind of conversations. I mean, we got a lot of foolishness and silliness on these internets, in the internet streets, but we need to have these, and we need to really do that, not just because it's my channel, but because this is a conversation that is of substance. And these women poured their hearts out here for y'all, really, because it's not for them. They already could keep their teachings to themselves, but to be able to give these out. And how much is the book? How much is the book?
$11.99 for the
Hardback.
$11.95 for the
$11.99 for the paperback, and the hardback book is
$28.95.
Listen, it's hardback. So think
It's a
about
real
all the
hardback.
teachers for $12 or $30, right? And it is the gift truly that keeps on giving us.
I don't have one to hold up. I sold mine.
Are you sold yours?
Yeah, we were selling our books.
All right, but everybody, thank you so much for watching Kendéll Lenice live. Remember, you are a star, so don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Until next time, God bless y'all. Peace. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.